G5Jefftv, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at BoxingFirst Now, we got an absolute treat for you guys today. Now, I know you used to listening to me on regular boxing YouTube videos, but very few boxing channels are going to take you behind the scenes before the videos actually happen. Now, the vice president of operations over here at G5Jefftv, my boy Shane, we have boxing conversations almost on a daily basis that don't make it to YouTube. So we figured it'd be a pretty good idea to actually record our conversation that we had yesterday, which was who is our top 10 heavyweights. So what you're going to listen to right now is Shane and myself go back and forth in terms of the top 10 heavyweights in a division. What I want for you guys to do is after the video, we want for you to put your top 10 heavyweights in the comment section. We figured with the whole coronavirus thing going on and there's no live boxing going on right now, that we just give y'all a little something different, you know, just a different type of twist when it comes down to the content for the channel. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Okay, so I'll just give them in order. I won't give the explanation for why I'm picking who in what order. But first, I would have Tyson Fury. Then I would have AJ. I would have Wilder after at number 3. Still at number 3. I would have Dylan at number 4. I would have Andy Ruiz at number 5. And Parker at number 6. It's ironic because obviously Parker beat Ruiz. So obviously you would say Parker should be above, but I'll explain why I have Andy Ruiz higher. I mean, that could be either or either. What number is that? So that, I think that's 6. In fact, I think I missed someone. I missed Alexander Usyk. Usyk will be above Andy Ruiz. So that will be 5. Ruiz will be 6. Parker will be 7. Povetkin will be 8. Hunter will be 9 and Ortiz will be 10. But it's debatable with number 10. I feel like there's a few guys around 10 and 11 and 12, you know, that can all lay claim to be a number 10.
Listen, for the people that don't know Shane, for him to put Luis Ortiz in his top 10 is saying something.
I mean, I'm on an American channel. I was talking to an American YouTuber the other day, literally in his live stream, and we were going back and forth about Luis Ortiz. I don't see what the love about Ortiz is. I mean, he's definitely got talent, but I just don't rate him as much as Americans do.
Right. So if you had to replace Ortiz at number 10, who would it be?
Well, I based my rankings on ability and as well as accomplishments. So one of the arguments a lot of Americans have in favor of Luis Ortiz is, 1, he looks very good on the eye, and 2, he is a very, he's in many people's eyes an avoided fighter. I feel like you being an avoided fighter shouldn't give you credibility over somebody else. Because me personally, you know, boxing is a business. Majority of the time, decisions are made with business in mind. You know, Tyson Fury didn't take the Oscar Rivas fight, not because he's scared of Oscar Rivas, but because it wasn't a business decision at the time. You know, there's many occasions in boxing where people just don't make the decision because of financials. So I don't feel like giving him credit because he has been avoided by certain fights, and I don't think he's been avoided, but people will say that. So if I had to replace him, I'd probably replace him with someone who I feel like is accomplished more. So I'd probably say, you know, Chisora's right there. Rivas is right there. Even the likes of Dubois and Joyce, you know, they're roundabout there as well.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. the winner of Joyce Dubois in July, the winner of that fight would have the biggest victory of their career.
100.
But that'd be the biggest victory. Like, that win would be bigger than any win Luis Ortiz had in his career.
100%. I feel like if you look at my rankings, you can't debate it because the majority of it's based on resume. I feel like a lot of people are so fascinated by the fact that Luis Ortiz looks so technically good. You looking technically good doesn't necessarily mean you are going to beat someone in a fight. Joseph Parker looked technically better than Dylan White. He still lost. Luis Ortiz looked technically better than Deontay Wilder. He still lost.
Still lost.
You see my point? So
Right.
you looking better doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. You know, Malik Scott looked very good when he fought sometimes. You know, he had very good technical ability, you know, but he still lost. You know, there's many times I've seen fighters, you know, who look very good and they do the fundamentals very well, but boxing is more than that. You know, if we were just awarding people on eye test, then Usyk will be the undisputed champion at heavyweight.
True. Now, just for the people listening, let's recap your top 10. You have Fury 1.
Yep.
You have AJ 2. You have Wilder 3. You have Usyk 4.
Dylan 4, Usyk 5.
Dylan
only
4.
because Usyk hasn't fought at heavyweight yet.
Correct. Dillian White at 4.
But sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off.
Parker is 6 and Anthony Ruiz is 7.
Either or either. So one or the other is either one above, one below. But sorry to cut you off. I actually do believe if Usyk beats Chisora, I would personally have him third in the heavyweight division. Now that's gonna be an unprecedented opinion, and not many people are gonna have that opinion. Beating Chisora doesn't mean you're a top 3 heavyweight, but what that means is you've now come accustomed to the heavyweight division. So I would even argue to have him ahead of AJ because I feel Usyk is that good. But I'll definitely have him ahead of Dylan White, and I'll definitely have him ahead of Deontay Wilder.
Okay. Now we gonna get to that. But you have Parker 6, Andy Ruiz 7, correct?
Mm-hmm. Or one or the other. It could be the other way around.
One or the other, flip flop 6, 7.
Yep.
Who you have 8?
Povetkin.
Povetkin's 8. You have Michael Hunter 9, and then you have Luis Ortiz 10.
Yep.
Okay. So going back to what you said about Usyk, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. I think it's safe to say that we both think he's probably the most technically sound big man in the game. I think it's pretty clear to say that.
Facts.
And he is ranked number 5 on your list right now without a legitimate heavyweight fight under his belt.
Yep.
Do you think that ranking is too high because he hasn't had a heavyweight fight yet?
The reason why I don't think it's high is because we're looking at Usyk, and how I'm doing it is I'm basing it on resume, and I'm also basing it on accomplishments and their actual ability. So he was a cruiserweight champion, an undisputed champion. So his accomplishments is already high. So we're gonna say then his resume is as good as anyone in the heavyweight division, maybe outside of Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury beat Klitschko and Wilder, so you can make an argument. But I would say it's definitely as good as Wilder's, or even better, and it's definitely as good as AJ's, because I feel like the fact that Usyk's had to travel to all of his opponents' hometown and he's beaten all of those fighters convincingly, I would argue that his accomplishments are high. And the reason why I say that it doesn't matter where his ranking is in the heavyweight division is because he's fought heavyweights and he's done fantastically well. He beat Michael Hunter, who's doing very well heavyweight. He beat Joe Joyce, who was a former heavyweight as well, who is a current heavyweight, and he beat him in the World Series of Boxing. So he has beaten heavyweights in the amateur game before. So he's not a complete novice. You know, he's fought a lot of heavyweights in the amateurs.
Okay, okay. So
And Marco
part of
Huck
it is
fights at
just
heavyweight as well. And he beat Marco Huck as well.
yeah. So part of it is just his greatness at cruiserweight, and then it's almost like part like you're projecting him to be great at
Yeah, and
heavyweight.
he's beaten top heavyweight. I mean,
And he's beaten top heavyweights in the amateurs.
Michael Hunter is a top heavyweight, and he's beaten him. Joe Joyce is probably going to be in everybody's top 20 at least. I would have him in my top 15.
Yeah,
He's beaten him, yeah, and he beat both of those guys convincingly. So
right. So and that's information that people don't know. So if you can, Shane, can you just tell the people who Usyk has beat again in the amateurs that people would know?
I can give you amateurs and professional. So
Okay.
for those who don't know, obviously he's an Olympic gold medalist, but he's fought amateur wise. Probably his biggest wins are obviously Joe Joyce. He also fought Kuzman. He beat Kuzman, who Michael Hunter beat last year.
Right.
He's also beaten Artur Beterbiev twice. I personally thought Artur Beterbiev won those fights, but he got the decision. He beat what's that guy's name? He's a I can't remember his name.
Joyce, right?
Nah, oh yeah, Joyce. But there's a Azerbaijani fighter who beat AJ. Usyk also beat him. Azerbaijani fighter beat AJ in the World Championships. Usyk beat him as an amateur as well. He's beaten his pro ranks. He's beaten the likes of Krzysztof Glowacki in Poland in his hometown. He fought Miris Bridis and he beat Bridis in his hometown. He fought Tony Bellew and he beat Tony Bellew in his hometown. He fought Michael Hunter and he beat Michael Hunter in America. And he fought Marco Huck and Gassiev in their hometown. So I feel like when you look at that, he's beaten all of these guys back to back to back. There was no breaks in between. This was all World Boxing Super Series back to back to back to back. And he beat all of those guys in their hometown. And if you look at the likes of Tony Bellew, Marco Huck, Glowacki to Miris Bridis, all of them are multiple cruiserweight world champions. You know, so
yeah. So that for the people that don't know, now you know that resume is absolutely crazy. You know, for a guy that's not known in the States. For him to have beaten that many guys is absolutely crazy.
I think he's only had like 14 fights as well as a professional. Something
yeah,
ridiculous.
He's only had like 13, 14 fights in the pros, like technically. So he's the big version of Vasyl Lomachenko.
Literally. I think he's even a step further because I rate Lomachenko as high as Usyk, but the only reason why I would rate Usyk as one step ahead of Lomachenko is only because Lomachenko hasn't fought the best in the division yet. It's not his fault that he hasn't done it because he has wanted to, but he hasn't. You know, you look at 130, he didn't fight the best at 130. It wasn't his fault, but he didn't. Whereas Usyk, he was at 200 pounds and he fought everybody. He literally fought everybody. Literally, no politics.
No politics at all, and that's a great point. That's a great point. With Usyk. Because when you hear your top 10, the first thing you're thinking is Usyk at number 5. Like, why do you have Usyk at number 5? So that was a great explanation. As far as my top 10, I think we have the first, I would say, 7 the same. So that's Fury, AJ, Wilder.
Do you have it in that order, by the way? Do you have it in that order? Do you have AJ ahead of Wilder?
Yes, I have it in that
order. I feel like we need to go to that point because a lot of people in your comment section is going to disagree with that. So
as far as Fury being 1?
Why Fury is 1 ahead of AJ and why AJ is ahead of Wilder?
Well, AJ avenged his loss. That's number 1. And before that, he was the number 1 guy at heavyweight. Like, it was no disputing that. Outside of Wilder, of course. But for me, AJ was number one prior to the Andy Ruiz loss, and he avenged the Andy Ruiz loss, and he looked good doing it. So Wilder hasn't had his opportunity to avenge his loss, but we can arguably say he's lost twice to Fury.
Arguably.
We can make that claim.
We can make the claim.
You can make the claim. So that's why he's 3 on my list. And Tyson Fury, he's number 1 on my list, despite all of the talk. We said it all the time, Shane. Like, when you facing a bully, the only way you're gonna beat the bully is to back up the bully.
We've said that from the beginning. You know, we said that from the beginning. I wish we could record some of our old conversations as well. It'd be funny.
Exactly, and we always said that for over a year. We said you have to bully the bully. It doesn't matter what division it is, and that included Wilder. And for Tyson Fury to basically not only bully the bully twice, but got up from his shots from being knocked down. Like, you're physically, people don't realize, listen, you are physically tired as somebody 6'9", 260-something pounds, and you're in the 12th round of a heavyweight fight, and you get knocked down like that. The fact that you had the balls to get up and then actually win the rest of the round. He won the rest of the round. Tyson Fury is number 1 on my list, and I know I'm gonna get some smoke for that. We both gonna get some smoke for that. I don't give a damn.
No, but I think he's well renowned as number 1. I feel like if you're basing it on wins, he does have the best 2 wins. He beat Wilder and he beat Klitschko. You can't argue with that.
Tyson Fury has the best win out of all 3 guys at the top.
Wins, plural.
Beat Deontay Wilder once for sure in convincing fashion. And the first fight, a lot of people said that he won the majority of the rounds. That's the best victory on Tyson Fury's resume.
And he got Klitschko as well.
Resume,
and he beat
AJ's
Klitschko.
resume.
And he beat Klitschko.
And he beat Klitschko. So he's number 1 on my list. AJ's number 2. Wilder's number 3. Dillian White been putting in work for a long time. And he should have got a WBC title shot, but we're not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. He's number 4. I have Usyk number 5. I agree with that. I have
By the way, he's not mimicking my top 5. He literally the reason why it's funny is because last time,
yeah, the first 7 I can't fraud, man. The first 7 we got the same, man. Like Andy Ruiz 6. I have Joseph Parker 7. That's where I veer off a little bit. I would put Povetkin 7.
You mean Povetkin 8?
Say it again.
Povetkin 8.
Oh yeah, it'd be 8. Povetkin would be 8. For me, Luis Ortiz would be 9, and Chisora cracks my top 10. Michael Hunter would be 11 for me.
So you would put, now this is where we're gonna have a straight on debate. You would put Luis Ortiz ahead of Michael Hunter.
Yep.
On what grounds? On what grounds?
Michael Hunter hasn't beaten anybody.
He's beaten better guys than Luis Ortiz.
Right. But this is why I put Luis Ortiz ahead of Michael Hunter. Luis Ortiz, even though he lost, he fought at that time the baddest man on the planet, Deontay Wilder, twice. In my personal opinion, he was winning both of those fights. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay, he was winning both of those fights. He got hit with a right hand, and he got stopped. But basically, he was beating the baddest man on the planet in 2 straight fights. That alone means more to me than the best Michael Hunter victory. What's the best Michael Hunter victory?
In my personal opinion, you know, he's beaten quite a few guys who's probably not A-level, but they're guys on the come up. So he beat Kuzman, he beat Bacoli, and he drew with Povetkin, but I thought he won the fight. But he
that's where me and you go on different paths, because I thought Povetkin won the fight by a round.
I thought.
But we can. You know what? That's our next debate. Let's watch that fight and let's do it. Let's do it round by round.
Okay, we could do a round by round, but
That'd be a good one. Hold on, for the people that's listening. Shane is from the UK. I'm from the US. I'm from Philly. But we say all the time that like we're brothers. Like we have the same boxing brain. Like not only do we have the same opinion about 9 out of 10 things, we literally be saying stuff at the same time. Like that's how scary it is in terms of boxing brain.
Or you would drop a video on a story that I've written, which is ironic. Like we wouldn't have no conversing. It would literally be
exactly. Yeah, and that's happened like twice, and it's crazy to have that type of connection with somebody in terms of just boxing period. So the fact that you're gonna get an actual debate between us two where we're disagreeing on something, trust me, that's gonna be a treat. Because it don't happen often.
But they're gonna get an early taster, because let me tell you why I disagree with what you just said. You just said because Ortiz was winning rounds against Wilder, that means that he, how can I say, that he deserves a place in your top 10. So where does Gerald Washington fit in that top 10? Because he won rounds against Wilder as well, and many people
only won 3 though.
3 out of 5. You know, he's still winning on the cards.
The first 3 rounds.
Congratulations.
Got in trouble in the 4th. And got stopped in the 5th. Won enough rounds. Luis Ortiz was going deep into that fight. He went deep into both of them fights, and he was leading on the cards.
I mean, that doesn't.
The thing is, because we're arguing, because Luis Ortiz is what, 8 on my list?
Yeah,
he's 8 or 9 on my list.
8. Yep.
He's 8th on my list. He's 8th on yours or 9th on yours?
10th. He's 10th on mine.
He's 10 on yours. So we're in the same ballpark, back in top 10.
Yeah.
So I can't even say I disagree with you. And can I put Michael Hunter now? Does Michael Hunter have a better resume than Derek Chisora?
That's a good question. I would have to argue no.
See, that's where I think that would be a better argument. Like,
I mean, in fact, I'm not.
Michael Hunter be your number 10.
I'm not even going.
Derek Chisora be over Michael Hunter on your list.
In fact, if I'm thinking about it, Derek Chisora should be ahead of both of them if we're going off resume. If we're just going solely off resume, I mean, he fought Vitaly Klitschko, he's fought David Haye, he's fought Tyson Fury twice, he's fought Dylan White, he's fought Kubrat Pulev, he's fought Caballo, he's fought Takam, he's fought Price, and he's about to fight Usyk.
The resume crazy.
He's basically fought everybody.
I can make. Only reason I won't put him ahead of Luis Ortiz is because he's fought all of those guys,
and he's lost to a lot of them.
He's not sound.
He lost to a lot of them as well.
Yeah, he did lose a lot of them, but I do give credit to a guy that's been in the ring with a lot of heavy hitters. Even if
100.
he takes a couple L's.
100.
I think what Derek Chisora did in the Dillian White fights.
You picked him to win. And you almost did.
I did pick him to win. I was 1 round away too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 1 round away, and Dillian White hit him with the money shot. Like, credit to Dillian White, But with Derek Chisora, I mean, it's crazy with Derek Chisora because who did he fight last? He fought
David Price.
He fought David Price. He beat David Price. Who he fight before that?
He fought Spilker, Arthur Spilker.
He fought Spilker. Hold on. So he fought David Price, Spilker before that, and then he fought. Who's the guy he fought and he got the 8th round knockout?
8th round. Carlos Takam.
It was before Spilker.
No, but that. Oh no, you're talking. This is the order. He fought Spilker. Then before that he had like a takeover fight against Gashi. He fought Dylan White, but then he fought Takam and he knocked him out in the 8th round against Takam.
It was Takam. Yeah, it was Carlos Takam. That was a good victory too, because that's and I highlight that victory because that's when he started training with Brian Baba Jennings.
And he started
I think
training
he's
with David
really
Hay as
improved
well.
his game since sparring with Baba Jennings, and Baba Jennings goes out to the UK.
Yeah,
to Derek Chisora's
but
camp.
that's through David Hay. David Hay actually
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I definitely have seen an improvement in him since.
Yeah, and Brian Jennings is from the city, so I'm I'm familiar with him. He's best friends with a guy I used to work with, so Brian Jennings is real good people. But I think fellas, this is supposed to be a debate between Shane and myself, and we got 7 out of 10 of our top 10 list exactly the same. Like I can't even force my way to disagree with the top 7. I can't even force it.
I feel like a debate that we can have, because I feel like this is a debate that people are gonna avoid. Because the Ring magazine have just put Dylan White ahead of Deontay Wilder. Do you want to address that?
You say Ring magazine took Dillian White ahead of Deontay Wilder?
Yeah.
If you really want to look at it, I think Dillian White has more quality wins than Wilder. Would you agree with that? Because you gotta think, Wilder hasn't beat Fury, right?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't beat him. Outside of that, he beat Luis Ortiz twice. Now, a lot of people thought that Luis Ortiz was the boogeyman, but a lot of people don't rank Luis Ortiz high. And then people think
unless they're fanboy,
best victory.
Unless they're Luis Ortiz fanboy. I mean, the reason why I feel like people have to give Dylan White a high ranking is solely because if you look at the fights he has won, the Parker fight, the Rivas fight, the Chisora fight, all of those 3 guys. Okay, I got a question for you. You rank Luis Ortiz high because of how he performed against Deontay Wilder. What about how Dylan White performed against Anthony Joshua? Does that have any sway in your in your decision of where you would rank him?
That's part of the main reason why I have him ahead of Usyk.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm consistent with that. Like I'm giving Luis Ortiz credit for what he did in the Wilder fights, even though he lost. Same thing for Dillian White against AJ. People think because you take a loss, like you can't take nothing out of it. And like the thing that you took out of that fight with Dillian White and AJ, you realize Dillian White can fight. He can fight his ass off. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the main. That's probably one of the top 3 reasons I have him ahead of Usyk right now. And as far as you say, Ring Magazine has Dillian White ahead of Wilder.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ahead of Wilder, me personally, obviously, because he's not ahead of Wilder on our list. But am I going to go down to the court and file a lawsuit about it? No, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not far off. So them saying that, I think they're wrong, but I don't think it's like outrageous. You know what I'm saying?
So then I feel like the contention that I have, because my ranking is pretty solid. I may reconsider the Chisora one because I feel like Chisora does deserve to be in the top 10. But what do you think about Ruiz and Parker? Parker's been quite inactive, so how is he still in our top 10? And he hasn't really shown us when I mean inactive, he hasn't fought anyone of note for a while.
He beat. To be honest with you, he could very easily be number 6 over Andy Ruiz. He can very easily be number 6. But the bottom line is Andy Ruiz beat AJ. That alone has to,
count for something. But then some people argue that Parker beat AJ.
That's they crazy. they crazy. They crazy. Whoever believes that, you already know what they on. I ain't have to say it on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way. Did AJ dominate that fight? No, he didn't. But did Parker win that fight? Hell no. He didn't win that fight. But the thing is, I have Joseph Parker over Andy Ruiz partially because he was I'm sorry, I got Andy Ruiz ahead. We got Andy Ruiz ahead of Joseph Parker.
I have it. I can't pick right now because I would want to put Ruiz ahead of Parker, but Parker can always say, I beat you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would put Andy Ruiz ahead of Parker. I would have Andy Ruiz 6, and I would have Joseph Parker 7. Even though Parker beat Ruiz, Ruiz beat Joshua.
Okay, but like, some people can say that was lucky. I'm not one of those people, but some people can say that.
If you want to say that, that's fine. If you want to say that it was a lucky victory, fine. But the thing is, he hit him with the perfect shot. And AJ couldn't recover. I mean, even if it's luck, it happened.
What has he done outside of beating Anthony Joshua?
Who, Andy Ruiz?
He hasn't really beaten anyone outside of beating Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that's true. But when you beat the #1 heavyweight in the world, it kind of don't matter who you beat before then, because that one's always going to stand out.
I mean, I'm not saying that I agree 100% with Andy Ruiz being ahead. He was ahead in my rankings, but I feel like if someone put Joseph Parker ahead of Andy Ruiz, I would understand why. Because I would too. He beat Ruiz, and also he does have better names. Like, he beat Hughie Fury. He also beat Carlos Takam. So
yeah, correct. And that's facts. It's debatable. I mean, you could literally flip a coin between them two. But a lot of people in the States don't like Joseph Parker. So, I like Joseph Parker. I just don't think he let his hands go enough. But he let his hands go in his last fight. But he fought a guy that was coming up from cruiserweight, basically.
But another thing that lets Joseph Parker down, I think people remember the Dylan White fight. And this is probably when I've always thought Wilder will beat White, but this is when I gave White a real good chance against Wilder. Is because we've always said to beat Wilder, we need someone who's willing to go in the trenches, run up in his mouth and get it. I saw a mentality of Dylan White who was someone who was willing to go in the fight and don't care about the rules, don't care about being nice, and really get down and dirty. And he tested Parker's heart, and Parker didn't want it. You know, I felt like that's the mentality that someone needs to beat Wilder. Fury showed that.
100% correct. As far as the Dillian White Joseph Parker fight, like it was kind of like, you know, Dillian White went to Joseph Parker's backyard and took his stuff and left. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it was. But you know the crazy thing about the heavyweight division? First of all, I think the heavyweight division might be the best division in boxing.
Ahead of 175 and 147.
The heavyweight is definitely deeper than 147. It's deeper.
It's deeper than 147. You think so?
Absolutely. We can name 15 guys off top.
Yeah, literally.
In the heavyweight division, that's legit.
Legit.
No bullshit, legit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't name 15 welterweights. You can't.
It's a tough one. Because, I mean...
That's another debate. We can do another video on that. That ain't no problem. I got this Instagram thing figured out. We do this shit every day.
I could...
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I could name 15 heavyweights, but I don't know if they're all solid. I mean, obviously I can name 15... I feel like I can name 15 welterweights. My bad, not heavyweights. I can name 15 welterweights, but I don't know if I can do it and say they're all solid. Because you'd put people like Lipinets in your top 15. He's not really to me, like... In fact, this video is about heavyweights, not welterweights, so we're not going to go on that.
No, but it's in relation. Like, I mean, I feel like the heavyweight division... I feel like it's the best division in the game. Like, even, you know, I love 175. I love 175. But I can't name 15 guys at 175. I can name 10. Not 15 though.
You can't name
'Cause you gotta
15.
think, take your top 10, right?
Yeah.
Take your top 10, take my top 10. It's what 70% the same.
Yeah.
Okay. The next 5 guys, let's just take your list. Let's take your list. The next 5 guys is Chisora, in no particular order. Chisora, Joyce,
Dubois.
That's 3, correct?
Yep.
Takam in your 15?
No, Takam won't be in my 15.
Or who will be your other 2?
I personally. So you said Joyce, Chisora. I'll put Hergovich in there.
Huh?
Hergovich.
Oh yeah, you could throw him in there. Yep.
It's tight because you couldn't even make a claim for Charles Martin after his last win. Adam Kalnacki.
Oh yeah, Adam Kovnatski.
Even though he
got
just
Charles
lost.
Martin,
Gerald Miller. Gerald Miller's back. You know, we don't know how he
got
beat
Gerald
after
Miller.
the juice.
He's all of the finest juices. But we can go deeper than 15.
I could go to 30,
We can
bro.
literally throw-
I can literally keep going.
You can go bro. We can go 20 deep.
Easily.
We can easily go 20 deep. Heavyweight is the deepest division in boxing. We always felt like the division was top heavy. We just felt like it was AJ, Wilder, and everybody else. But AJ got beat. Wilder
Wait,
got
no. I'm wrong, bro. My top 10 has to change, bro. We forgot someone, bro. Kubrat Pulev, where does he fit in that? He has to fit in that top 10. Kubrat Pulev has to fit in that top 10.
I don't know if he fit in my top.
He fits in my top 10. He beat Chisora and he beat Huey Fury.
Who he replacing?
He could be. He will replace Luis Ortiz in my top 10. He's got better names than Luis Ortiz. He beat Chisora and he beat Huey Fury.
Do I want to put Pulev in my top 10?
But that just shows you how.
And he's getting a title shot.
That just shows you how deep the division is, though. That shows you how deep the division. Bro, we didn't even mention Oscar Rivas. Where's Oscar Rivas in the top?
We didn't mention Oscar Rivas neither. That's definitely 20 deep.
Yeah, we can go for days, bro. We can literally go for days.
We can go for days in the heavyweight division, man.
Nah, it's definitely the deepest. It's easily the deepest.
Ooh, does Pulev make my top 10? Hold on. What I got? Ortiz at 8. No, I got Povetkin at 8. I got Ortiz at 9. I got Chisora at 10. Do I like Pulev over Chisora?
He beat Chisora.
I know. But we got Joseph Parker. We got Andy Ruiz ahead of Joseph Parker, and Parker beat Ruiz.
That's true. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, look at what's his name who's moved up to heavyweight. Gassiev moved up to heavyweight as well. Where does he fit in that?
Yes.
You got Caballero who beat Chisora as well. Where does he fit in? Is there Carlos Takam? He's still there. You know, Charles Martin. I literally can keep going. Robert Helenius just beat, what's it called? Robert Helenius just beat Kalnacki. Where does he fit, you know?
Yeah, so we got to factor in Helenius as well. It's easily 20 deep.
I can keep going because there's some prospects I can mention
There's
that
some prospects.
people
We can literally go 25 deep. It's the deepest division in boxing.
easily.
Like you can't name more than 10 welterweights or 10 light heavies.
I can name more than 10 light heavies.
Yeah, you can name more than 10 light heavies.
But I don't know if
the
they're-
public ain't gonna know the ones after 10.
I mean,
You
I
go
can
hard
name
for it.
them.
I remember that.
I can name them, but I don't know if they're all serious. Like, there's some guys who are unproven at light heavyweight. You know, even Anthony Yard, he's unproven at light heavyweight.
Yeah, but we know Yard legit though.
I mean, when I mean unproven, he doesn't have a legitimate win. Everybody we've named in the top 10 has a legitimate win. In my top 10.
With Anthony Yard though, the thing about Anthony Yard, he was a minute away from being the champ. Like, he was a minute away from getting Kovalev up out of there.
Definitely.
That means something. Like, that proves to me you're legit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was deep in the fight too. It was round 8, so it wasn't like it was like a lucky shot or something like that. Like, It was in the 8th round. But even with that, like, even when you get past 10, you're naming guys that you're not 100% sure about. We just
Literally.
ran off 20 heavyweights.
Who all
That's
have...
solid.
I mean, you can even argue that people like Rivas, Miller, Pulev, Chisora, Dubois, Joyce, all of these guys can actually held claim to being in the top 10 as well. They can actually...
Absolutely.
So the fact that they're on the outside of our top 10, they might be in somebody else's top 10.
Correct.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Pulev will be in most people's top 10.
You said Pulev will be in most people's top 10?
I think so.
I disagree with that. You talking about in the UK?
I'm talking about in general, boxing fans in general.
I guarantee you, the people that's in the comment section, and the people in the comment section, make sure that you put your top 10 heavyweights in the
definitely do that. Definitely.
So we can talk, because we're going to do a part 2 to this, and what we're going to do is we're going to read off people's top 10 lists.
In fact, we can do that for the next top 10 for another video. Like the next...
Right. But we're definitely going to do another heavyweight video, and we're going to read off some of you guys' top 10 lists, and we're going to see if y'all list is credible, or we think you absolutely crazy.
We're name... I'm name dropping. If your top 10 is... If your top 10 ain't cutting it, I'm name dropping. I'm gonna tell you that you ain't cutting.
Oh yeah. We're not gonna read off every person's top 10 list at heavyweight. But if it's a really good list, like we'll give you credit. But if your list is on some bullshit, we calling you out. Like, there's gonna be a part 2 to this heavyweight video.
There's gonna be someone putting Karnaki at number 1.
Somebody listen. I ain't saying no names. I'm not saying no names until I see they top 10 in the comment section. And listen, if you want to send me your top 10 on Instagram, you can definitely follow me at Box with G5Jefftv. Did Shane, you want to drop yours?
Yeah, I'm not in the comment section anyway, but my Instagram is I_am Shane1. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So what we gonna do? We gonna close off this video. Put your top 10 in the comment section of this video, or give your top 10 to Shane on Instagram, or give your top 10 to me, Box with G5Jefftv on Instagram. If your list is solid, we're gonna run off all of the names of the list that we think is solid. But if you on that bullshit, I'm calling you out, and Shane calling you out. We will give you an opportunity to rebut. So you have to follow us on Instagram, because we can get you in on this Instagram conversation, and we can talk about how bad your darn heavyweight list is to you. You understand what I'm saying? So, listen, man. This is the first of many videos that's going to be done with the VP of Operations over at G5Jefftv. My brother, Shane. I appreciate you, bro. And we're going to drop this video. Put your top 10.
Yeah, definitely. Put your top 10.
Right?
Put your top 10.
Say it again.
I said put your top 10 in the comment section.
Yes, top 10 in the comment section. And we'll give you guys about a week. We'll give you guys a week to get your list together and everything, and report it to us. And then we're going to do a part 2 of the top 10 heavyweights video. Maybe comment section reaction, something like that. And it's going to be another epic conversation. But on behalf of the VP of Operations, my boy Shane, and G5Jefftv, we are out.